Hello, I'm Anne Ibañez and I am part of a group of teachers who is in charge of creating CLIL material. So in the last few months, I have analyzed a unit work that is already available, and I also have read several articles with I am widening my knowledge and on what experts claim regarding CLIL materials. That is why I am here. I am going to put in practice what they claim by presenting my findings. But first, I would like to tell you my first impression when informing the how CLIL material should be. In my situation, I am 25 years old and therefore in school the subject of English has been part of my studies for 13 years, in which I have never used anything other than books, which by the way never renewed during my years in school and high school. Furthermore, when I was in the practice period at Abuso Castola, I realized that they teach English by project. In my opinion, beautiful, motivating, and useful. But when I came back to USC, everything changed in the moment that I started to learn that English must be taught through all subjects and not inculcating it as a separate subject. Linked to that, when I was studying at USC, I had the 3.9 subject, in which I realized the use of English in the real life. The language of public, road, signs, advertising billboards, street names, place names, commercial shop signs on government buildings combines to form the linguistic landscape of a given territory, region, or urban agglomeration. And in spite of the Basque Country's landscapes is absolutely bilingual, Spanish and Basque. But we can also find things and advertisement in English, like in t-shirts or in some pictures in the streets. So one more time, I can realize the importance of have a good education in English. So after this small introduction, I'm going to present you the important characteristic of create and choose CLIL material. It is important to take into account that CLIL is used to refer to a wide range of programs, from those that use the L2 for teaching one short content module. CLIL offers a sound theoretical and methodological foundation for planning CLIL lessons and constructing materials because of its integrative nature. Content is about the learners creating their own knowledge and understanding and developing skills. Cognition is related to learning and thinking. Communication is necessary because of the importance of interaction. Intercultural awareness is fundamental to CLIL. But taking into account that I am here to present you my best findings, I consider really interesting and important to show you the 4 strategies that I have chosen for selecting appropriate classroom materials. Rich input. SLA studies have shown that meaningful and challenging input is one of the main pillars of foreign language acquisition. Classroom content should be meaningful in a sense that it focuses on global problems making faces while connecting with the daily lives of our students and their areas of interest. One of the key concepts for selecting materials is that of multimodal input. The various ways of presenting subject-specific matters visually, through maps, diagrams, etc., not only allow for diversified teaching and promote visual literacy. Scaffolding learning. They need scaffolding to help them cope with language input of all sorts. The quantity and intensity of scaffolding can be reduced as a student's language skills advance. Experience has shown that the students who are not as gifted in language learning as other students greatly benefit from scaffolding. Interaction. Long's interaction hypothesis proposed that language acquisition is strongly facilitated by the use of the target language in interaction. That's why connects input, internal learner capacities, particularly selective attention, and output in productive ways. Intercultural dimension. People's willingness to cooperate significantly increases the better they know each other. And as a teacher, we should create connection with students' attitudes, experience, and knowledge. Make the learning process transparent and provide clear structuring, for example, by using advanced organizers. Make sure that results of groups are shared with all students of the class through posters, blogs, learning diaries, websites, etc. And promote autonomous learning and introduce digital displays, portfolio work, and etc. Once I clarify the basis for choosing the CLIL materials, it is time to share with you the material analysis and the conclusions I have reached. First, the objectives of this unit are to study famous painters, the verb to be in the past and irregular verbs. As well as learning to write in the past, learn several irregular verbs and finish writing letters. The topic is life and some works of famous painters. Thus, the whole unit and all exercises will be united to the main theme, giving importance to the art and joining in to improve and learn English. So, as Cole says, content is about the learners creating their own knowledge and understanding and developing skills and not only focusing in the language. Thus, the vocabulary is also completely linked to the theme. Early modern art movements, impressionism, expressionism, cubism, painting techniques, oil, watercolor, on canvas, on paper, on cupboard, paper cuts, etc. Other artworks are painting, art galleries, drawing, artist, capture, college style, exhibition, verbs related to biography was born, lived, moved, decorated, painted, dyed, etc. Other topics: school life, projects, excursions, hobbies and interests. That is to say, during the unit, children will learn arts technique vocabulary. They will read, listen and write about the famous painters, so they will learn to write in the past. And they will enjoy the process making excursions and projects. They had planned to go to an art museum to learn about different painters too. In that way, on the one hand, students learn about famous painters having the book as base, but they live their real life going to museums. They also learn by games. In this case, the unit offers a game which children have to be in groups. The teacher has to give them different names of famous people like actors, musicians, painters, etc. And by groups, they have to guess who of them are painters. In this way, children learn famous painters' names and they work by groups, because as long says the interaction between students is really important. As for listening, the exercise consists of listening one who talks about art, a child who goes to a museum and explains what he has seen. So after that, students will find the false answer or answer several questions. Thus, children will practice listening exercises and will be informed more about art museums and or art painters. The unit also offers topics for discussion. And one more time, children will interact with the others. There are exercises that even if children talk about the subject, the teacher should always be as an assistant and guide of the process. Another part of the unit is dedicated to the famous painter Paul Klee. The process begins with a comic from his life, which introduces the students in an enjoyable way. In addition, the comic is a way to arouse curiosity in children and want to know more about the history of Klee. Following the story of Paul Klee and reading about it, the unit proposes an exercise in which students will have to put the year to each information about the painter. And this is how they also introduce the learning of numbers, but with a clear objective. that is, to learn them while they are informed about art, and not simply doing mechanical exercises to memorize the numbers. To finish the unit, the students must deliver the project, which they have been creating throughout the term. In this case, they have to write a letter by answering the letter of the child that appears at the beginning of the unit. Students will have to write to him about what they have learned from Paul CLIL. So, in addition to closing the unit, they have also acquired the characteristic of a letter. In conclusion, and after having analyzed the unit of art, I understood the importance of CLIL and its materials. They need to teach English in a globalized way, but never forget to teach the basis of the language. The language is the main tool for the development of the identify, for the internalization of the reality, and for the acquisition and the structuring of the knowledge. Throughout the language, we embrace new concepts, gather them, and relate prior knowledge a new one. The proper language development is the key to the academic success, since it is the essential support for the learning and teaching process. Besides, it is a way of communication, since the social relationships have a crucial function in the development of the human being. The social interaction becomes the way people build their knowledge and principles. The aim is to learn how to use it to communicate, to internalize their reality, and to incorporate, construct, and process the knowledge.